CleanMipTech. Tailor-made purification solutions.
Hello, everyone. My name is Teresa, and I'm here today to present what CleanMipTech, our company, can offer to pharmaceutical industry, a new tailor-made purification solution. And so, every day, thousands of medicines are produced. And inside these medicines, there is an active compound, which is called API, which stands for active pharmaceutical ingredient. And this active ingredient is responsible for the therapeutic effect of these medicines. And how are these active pharmaceutical ingredients produced? Mainly by chemical synthesis. And in this synthesis, what happens is that many impurities are formed, which can be also in reactive starting materials. And so the pharmaceutical companies have to separate this API from the impurities. And how they do that? Through a purification process. That at the last stage, they achieve what is called a column chromatography. And what is this? Is a tube which is filled with particles that have the ability to capture these impurities. And so what happens is that these impurities are retained in the column. So at the end, we can have a purified API fraction. But of course, this process is not a single column process. And so we need several columns to do this and to achieve the purity they want that is higher than 99%. And this is a very expensive and time-consuming process. And so purification costs can go up to 80% of the total production cost, and just chromatography is 60%, represents 60% of this cost, which is a huge amount. And so why is purification so important to pharma industry? Because these impurities can potentially end up at the final APIs and posing risk human health, because they are mostly genotoxic impurities, which are called GTIs. And so they have the ability to interact with DNA and cause mutations and cancer. So, and also there is a strict regulation. So the pharma has to comply with FDA and EMA regulatory requirements. And so, as you can see, they have to address a very, very tiny amount of GTI that can be at the final API. And just you to see, just this year, there have been already 17 recalls of drugs from the market due to these final impurities in the medicines. And so, what can our technology do to address this problem? So our CleanMipTech technology combines green synthesis and particle engineering to produce high-affinity polymer particles. And so, unlike conventional particles that are non-specific or have very expensive ligands, which are like hooks that capture these impurities, our technology has a very precise control over the design of specific binding sites in the particle. And so we can have a perfect match between the particle and the molecule we want to address in functionality, size, and conformation. So we have like an antibody, so we have an artificial antibody. And so all of these using a green technology. So our technology, what it delivers is an homogeneous powder, a polymeric particles in powder that can be easily packed into these columns, these tubes for separation. And so this higher affinity means that we have a shorter purification process. So instead of those several columns, we have just one column. So we have a one-step purification. And all of these, we have a robust and reusable material which can be used over and over and over without losing efficiency. And it's cost-effective. We have the right balance between cost and affinity, much better than our competitors. And so we have been developing our technology for several years now. In 2011, we have won the Solvay Ovion Innovation Challenge Award. And more recently, we have been developing, in collaboration with Ovion, particles for API purification. At the moment, we have a patent in preparation because we were able to increase even more the affinity and the selectivity of our particles. And so the market of APIs, of these active ingredients, is huge and is increasing a lot. And the largest market share is for synthetic APIs. And so all the purification, and in particular the chromatography market, is following this increasing trend. And so we are addressing the global chromatography particles, which are called resins, and which is valuing $3.4 billion. And so some words about our technology. William Hague, which was chief scientist of Ovion for several years, has seen the high potential of our technology, and he really thinks that it could be a method of choice in the future for the purification of APIs. And so we will enter the market by supplying Ovion and other pharmaceutical companies which really produce these APIs, and then we will distribute our materials through well-established distribution channels. And so, looking at our roadmap, we will enter the market at year 3, and during this period, we'll have patent submissions, certifications, and validations, and also we expect to go from pilot scale to industrial scale in the last year. So for that, we will need an investment of 2.3 million euros prior to market expansion. And we expect that 5 years after entering the market, we will have revenues over 30 million euros. So let me introduce our team, myself and Raquel, which we are the technologists, our management member, which is Fanny Delcroix, and our dear mentors, Felipe Vicente and Mario Freire. And so just to wrap up, I would say that we have a platform technology which offers tailor-made purification solutions for the pharmaceutical industry. And here is our email, so we are glad to have your contact in the near future. Thank you very much for your attention.